Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Stand Up Guy Radio, episode 20. That's right, 20. We have a good show for you tonight. Al Romero, my co-host, and myself are happy to be with you this evening. So let me please bring in my co-host. You know him. You love him. Please welcome to the show, Al Romero, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, man, what's happening, bro?
Nothing, just glued to my TV, watching all this, counting. I never thought I would be so interesting in watching numbers change,
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing what's going on.
Speaking of TV, you know what I saw on TV the other day? Brian Regan is this funny comedian, man. He's my favorite comedian.
Brian Regan's a great guy, man. Me and Brian started together at the comic strip.
Yeah.
I know Brian very well. He's a great guy, man. Not only funny, but a great guy.
You know Brian Regan?
Yeah, we're friends. I'm very good friends with him.
Get out.
Well, I wouldn't say good friends. I mean, we don't have Thanksgiving dinner together. First of all, he lives in Vegas, so, But no, we're friends,
Wow. I don't know. You don't know him. Why don't you have him on the show sometime? How come you don't?
I can call him. You
don't have his number.
You want me to call him now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Okay. I want to see this. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Huh?
Brian. Al. How you doing, buddy? Not much, man. Glued to the TV like everybody else. Hey, listen, man. I'm doing a podcast right now. Do you mind coming in and saying hello? My buddy over here wants to say hello to you too. You would? Oh, terrific, man. Okay. We'll get you in. Terrific. Bye-bye. Okay.
All right, we'll see.
Okay. See if he calls in or not.
Wow. Who else do you know?
I know everybody.
So what do you think about these elections, man?
Well, I think it's going to end up in the Supreme Court. I don't see any other way to do it. It's going to be so close that they're going to have to have recounts everywhere. There's too many. Whether they're true or not, the allegations have to be looked into about all this supposedly not letting people watch what they're counting and having fraud. I've read somewhere that they found over 100,000 ballots, all of them for Biden, not one for Trump. I mean, that's a statistical impossibility, what are the chances of that? That every single person in this district voted for the same guy. So anyways, I mean, I don't know if that's true. That's the allegations, what I'm saying. So we have to see, they have to look into this. It's going to be the same thing as Bush Gore in 2000, only instead of one state, we're going to go through this with 4, maybe even 5 states.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a complete, total cluster mess. So, yeah, Supreme Court is going to end up making the decision, man, because there's a lot of ballots that they're counting that the Trump administration is contesting. So if they lose or they win, whatever it is, whoever wins, whoever loses, the appeal is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court.
So we're not going to know for a long time, huh?
I don't think we're going to know till about right around inauguration time, just like Bush Gore, man. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing, only 4 states instead of 1, which is a nightmare. So let's see what happens. Hopefully.
I don't understand how it seems that the pandemic is getting worse, but it seems like things are opening up and loosening up.
Well, because I think, Mike, what people have realized is that hiding in your house doesn't do any good, okay?
Right.
I think Sweden is a perfect example. Sweden never closed anything. They took precautions, they cover themselves, they use sanitizer, they're distant, but they didn't close their schools, they didn't close work, and they have not had any more cases or any more death in proportion to their population than any of the other European countries. So that tells you right there that if the other European countries are clustering in their house and Sweden is not doing, and you get the same results, then overstaying in your house doesn't do shit.
Wow.
And, the other thing too is that I think, people are just tired, man. I mean, there's other consequences to staying in your house. And the thing about everybody getting so excited about, oh, cases are going up, did we know from the very beginning of this pandemic that they kept saying there's going to be a second wave right around the fall time?
Yeah.
So why are we all surprised that we're having cases spike?
Because
we knew that from the very beginning. From the very beginning, they told us that.
Because nobody believed. So
nobody believed what?
Nobody believed. Hey,
Sorry.
I can't believe this. You know who just
What?
Wait a minute. Wow, you really?
Hey! There
You
he is,
really?
ladies and gentlemen. Brian Regan.
Are you really? Brian Regan, man. You really do know Brian Regan, dude. I thought you were lying to me, bro.
Kidding me?
Unbelievable.
Brian and I were married at one time.
For a short time.
A short
So how
time.
you doing, buddy? Hey, listen, thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate you
It's
having me.
such a pleasure to meet you, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Good to be on with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We're
that's
on now.
fantastic.
We're recording right now. We're on.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Brian, how's life in Vegas? You like living there?
I've been in Vegas for 17 years.
Holy
Yeah. You know me. I'm a white tiger guy. I've had white tigers my whole life, and what better place to... You don't
Yeah, it
feel-
was kind of difficult in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, you go to Vegas, you fit right in. You fit right in.
And Brian, you have kids now, right? How many kids do you have?
2. My son is 21 years old. My daughter is 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't it scary to think that there are human beings that look up to you and I as parents figure?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that scary?
It's a big responsibility, but
I know.
they're wonderful kids, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I have one daughter. My daughter's going to be 30 years old in another couple of months,
All right,
It's
congratulations to
interesting.
her.
Yeah, well, she has me as her father, so I don't know how much congratulations that could be. Listen, so where are you working now with the pandemic? How is that affecting your personal appearances?
Well, I've been doing comedy clubs.
Okay.
Theaters have not been open because social distancing and stuff like that. Although theaters are now beginning to open again, but with people having to be far apart from each other.
Right.
But I've been doing comedy clubs for like the last 2 months just because I want to be out there doing comedy, and
Yeah, you got to exercise that muscle, man.
right,
Shit,
Well-
I went like 4 months without doing it, and when I got on it, it was like the first show was like I was totally lost. By the second show, everything came back, but that first show was kind of wow.
The first time, the longest before COVID, the longest I had gone without doing a show was when my son was born. I took 3 months off just to do the daddy thing. And then the first time I went into a comedy club after 3 months off, I saw all the people sitting in the seats. I looked at the stage and the microphone, and my heart started pounding. I started thinking, who in the hell do I think I am? You know what I mean? Like, who do I think where did I ever have the audacity to think I could get up there and entertain these people?
You went back to the comic strip days, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what am I doing here? I got nothing to say to these people.
Mike, I mean, when Brian was starting, we started a comic strip together. It
Yeah.
was great, man. We had such a great fraternity. We're still friends with Joe. Joe is one of my best friends. Turned out to be one of my closest friends. But we had such a great camaraderie together. These guys had this system where one week you will work the front door, right? Another week you will do the kitchen. Another week you will be the MC. Wasn't that the way the rotation used to work?
Well, I was always doing a little bit of everything, I mean, I sat people, I worked in the kitchen, I cooked. It's funny. There were times when I was cooking, right? I'd be in the kitchen, and they would let me go on to do 10 minutes up front. And people in the audience would order their burgers, and I would put the burner down low. I would put the burner down really low. I had to get on stage. And I would be on stage performing, and I could hear people in the audience asking their server, "Where's my burger?" And they had no idea. Yeah, they had no idea. They're looking at the cook.
Yeah, your burger's on stage. That's what your burger is.
Yeah. You ain't getting your burger until this guy says goodnight.
That was good times. And then me and Joe getting into, remember whenever I came into town, me and Joe ended up getting into a fight with somebody.
Are you talking about the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale, Al? Or?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
our home club. Yeah, that was great, you know?
Yeah, there's the comic strip in New York. And
Yeah.
then they opened a sister club, if you will, in Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah.
which was life-changing for me.
Yeah,
because
man.
I knew I wanted to do comedy. And when I realized I wanted to be a comedian, the only comedy clubs were in New York and LA. So I thought I was going to have to move to one of those two cities. I was planning to move to New York. And I remember seeing the ad in the Miami Herald for the comic strip comedy club in Fort Lauderdale. And I was like, with an open mic night, you know, I mean, it was
Yeah.
of all the ads in my life. Yeah, I know, it was unbelievable, you know? Yeah.
Wow.
I love
It's
that
like an
place.
epiphany.
That's where I started too. And I remember on the outside they had the big painting of Robin Williams, Rodney Dangerfield, and Eddie Murphy, the big out there. And then when they closed, we took it over in the improv troupe I was in, Comedy Sports, and we tried to do comedy sports there. That's one of the first places I ever did stand-up. And then when I realized some of the people that had been on that stage, I was amazed. Like, I started feeling like Brian, like, what am I doing here?
No, we had some big names go through that, but the people that in the homegrown people of Miami, I mean, Brian just passed. You know, I mean, he's the most talented guy that came out of that club.
Oh, you're nice, man. You can edit that part out.
Yeah, but
No,
look,
really. And let me tell you, I always thought you were funny. I always thought you were going to make it. But I really tell you the truth, I never thought you were going to be that big. You really have surpassed all expectations, my friend. You really have become an icon in comedy. I'm not saying this to blow smoke up your ass. This guy over here, this guy loves you. He thinks you're the greatest thing in the world, man.
I appreciate it.
Right.
I do counseling for addictions and stuff too, and I do that, and I do comedy. And on Saturdays, I would go in and run a whole thing, and I would always start off with a video. And they would use a lot of music, but of course I used a lot of comedy, and I would always show your videos of, especially the one about pain and going to the hospital. And, you know, how would you rate your pain? And you're like, ow. Ouch. And then when they ask you to rate a number from 1 to 10, and you're like, 4. Oh, I messed up. I'm not getting anything. And it's one of this. All your stuff is so good, man. It's just,
thanks, man.
And I would use it to get the kids happy before we did group.
How many years were you at the strip before you moved to New York?
Well, I was at the comic strip for, I think, 2.5 years.
And then moved to New York?
No, I went out on the road. I was on the road. Like I had no home for, 3 years or something like that.
Wow, you became a road monkey. Wow.
I was on the road, I had one bill I had to pay, and that was my phone thing, and I would, and comedy was exploding, so I could work
right
every week, and not because I was any good. The comedy clubs needed comedians.
There were more comedy clubs than comics at one time.
If you could stand on stage and not melt, you know what I mean? If you could just stand there for half an hour and talk, you could get booked.
That is so true, man. That is so true, Mike. You missed those years. You came right after.
Yeah.
When Brian and I were in the middle of the explosion of comedy, I swear by God, man, there were people on stage that, Mike, I'm sure you sat there and go, what the fuck is this guy doing on stage? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like anybody, if you didn't vomit on stage, you can open.
Wow.
But Mike, what I'm trying to get at is that when you moved to New York, once you got to New York, I remember I was living in New York at the time. You just took off like a rocket, man. I mean, you just took off. I remember you won that contest Remember?
K-Rock.
The K-Rock, you made $10,000, remember?
Yeah.
Remember I tried to hit you for a $10,000 loan and you never gave it to me?
Yeah, you were the first guy to call me.
Hey, I heard you have $10,000.
Hey, yeah.
But you took off after that, man, like a fucking rocket. What do you attribute that to? What happened? Did something happen in your psychic that once you realized that you won that contest, you were getting managered like heavyweight managers, that something just exploded and you became so much more assured of yourself, and that's why your comedy just came out of you?
Well, a lot of it, there's like luck involved, and like moments can happen. Like, I had been doing comedy in New York and was doing my best to try to get on stage. Some clubs would give me good time slots. Other clubs I wasn't even in at. And then this K-Rock thing, Howard Stern was the DJ for K-Rock. So it was a big thing in New York, this comedy competition. And you had to send a video in to see if, you could be in the comedy competition. And I sent a video that I had sent to a comedy club that rejected me. I swear.
That's beautiful.
The same video that I sent to a comedy club, and the guy sent me this letter saying, you have some interesting concepts, but clearly you need to work at this craft. And I was like, so I sent that video in to K-Rock going, there's no way. Like, I can't even get a middle spot at a comedy club with this tape. And then they called and said, yeah, you're one of the finalists. They picked 12 people just from tapes. And then I ended up winning the competition. And then the next thing I know, I'm walking into comedy clubs and they're going, all right, you're next. I can just walk in. And I'm like,
I'm the same guy.
I'm the same guy that the comedy clubs don't want.
He said, but isn't this business, this is your business, man. It's what it is. One day you're living in your car. The next day you're living in Beverly Hills. It could be that drastic.
It was so crazy. So it changed everything for me in New York. And then I kind of became like one of the guys that was at a certain level in New York. And
yeah, but
so that helped me tremendously.
You became such a prolific writer, man. I remember people used to tell me, oh yeah, Brian's going to be here 2 weeks. He's doing one show this week and going to do a completely different show next week. And I'm sitting there going, I'm there the week before. I go, oh, okay, so I'm the fucking idiot that only have one show.
Yeah, that was something I was trying to do.
So what happened? I mean, were you ever... I don't remember you being that prolific of a writer when you were at the comic show. I mean, you had good stuff and stuff like that, but I mean, so much comedy that you have put out in the last few years. It's been amazing.
Well, I'll tell you, I like everybody, like most comedians, you get your 45 minutes together. So I had 45 minutes that I could do well with, I could headline with, and then I got lazy, and I was riding that for a while. And I was drawing people in, and then I started seeing the numbers drop off. And a couple people would say, hey, we enjoyed you, it's kind of the same thing as last time. And it opened my eyes about how important it was to write. And I realized that I had lost that thrill from the early years of not knowing if something was going to get a laugh. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to dedicate myself to just keep coming up with stuff. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, great. I don't care. I just want to keep trying. And then that's when I started that process of just keep writing.
So do you know any good jokes? I'm
not that good.
That I remember on the ship, that happened to me when I was brand new on the ship. You do that clean show up front, and it got so good to me. I just burned through all my good material, and then everyone was seeing me in the hallway. They, oh man, you were great! I can't wait to see you tonight. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And I'm in my room writing and taking over. I had to write all new stuff because they were gonna all come see me. It was scary.
That's. The first time, I remember the first time I had to do 45 minutes. I'm out on the road and I was either opening or middling. I never headlined, And then I had this opportunity to
Wait. You went from middle to superstar. There was no in between. There was no headlining. Middle act to superstar. Okay. No, I feel much better now, Brian.
Yeah.
Let it go, Al. Let it go.
So I the most I had ever done was 30. That's the most I ever had to do. And then I'm performing this place in Texas, and there's only going to be 2 comedians, and they said we need each of you to do 45 minutes. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got a pot of coffee, and I'm like, I need to do everything in my act, every tagline, every A joke, B joke, C joke, and D joke. I need to do everything. And I worked all day at memorizing my my act, because like I needed to do 45. I was so scared, and I said to myself, I'm not going to look at my watch because I didn't want to look at my watch on stage and then see like I'm at 22. You know what I mean? And go, now what am I going to do? So I got on stage, and I got very lucky that I caught like a good crowd.
Yeah.
You know, so your taglines are working, your B material is working. So I was able to do everything. And I remember going, I think I'm at about 35 minutes. I'm going to take a look at my watch. And I looked at my watch, and I was at 44. And I went, good night!
Enough of this shit. That's amazing, man. Let me ask you something. When are you going to be in South Florida?
Actually, in December.
Where?
I'm doing Savannah. I'm doing Jacksonville. I'm doing West Palm Beach. I think that's the furthest south I'm going to be.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be over in Naples. So I don't have the dates in front of me, but they would be on my.
Well, let me know about
calendar.
West Palm Beach, because I mean, Joe and Ann are dying to see you, man. They're dying to see you.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. Love to have you guys.
Yeah.
You going to be at the Improv? At the Improv in West Palm, or the theater? Where are you going to be in West Palm?
I don't know. It's a one-nighter.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
Right. Yeah, man.
It's a one-nighter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know that. Go ahead, Al.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that thing about going from featured to superstar. I remember I never headlined a club. Al got me on the cruise ship. I was really a strong middle. I wasn't even a headliner. I didn't even know what the hell a headliner was. And I started doing the ships, and then I got off the ships as they requested because of the
Okay, wait.
Here's the gangway.
Wait, that's too good to pass up.
Yeah.
Mike got fired from the ship because they found a naked woman in his closet. Okay. I swear, I'm not lying.
And I'm like, holy shit. There's a girl in my closet. Man, am I glad to see you guys. You guys are good. How did you know that she was in there?
So go ahead, take it from there.
So then I got off. Nobody on land knew who I was because I never did any clubs. I went right from like doing a few clubs and then comedy traffic school, where I actually met your brother in Orlando because he was doing that up there. Kevin and I hung out a couple times with that. But I was doing comedy traffic school, which actually comedy traffic school, I think I probably got more from that, doing a 4-hour class, talking about a serious topic for 4 hours, making it funny and interviewing the audience, than comedy club, because I wasn't getting that much stage time. And then the next thing you know, I'm trying to do clubs and I'm middling, and the headliners are kind of like, hey, that guy's kind of a headliner. Like, it's kind of hard to follow, And and then I started, I think Fort Myers, what's that club? The Laughing Comedy Cafe was one of the first places I ever headlined. And I remember that feeling like, I'm headlining? Like, I'm the last thing they're going to see? I'm the reason, like, that they're, like, man, it was, but it's fun.
It's a big jump from, opener to middle is one thing, but middle to headliner, there's so much pressure on a headliner. You have to have more than your 45, because if something's not working, you need to be able to drop that and jump to something else. Plus, you have to handle the checks, when the checks drop.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what I mean? You have to be able to have the skill set to be able to work through that. So it's a big jump. to get to headliners. So, and a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, I just need 15 more minutes of material. It's like,
no, it's a whole psychological thing too.
Yeah.
The pressure that you put on yourself, you don't realize it until you're out there putting it on yourself. But
Right.
you want to talk about pressure. You know, when I started the comic strip, you know, I got very fortunate. I went to LA. I got on the Mark Griffin show and stuff like that. I got manager, agents. My first big gig after all of that. Now, remember, I'm coming from Florida. I had maybe 25 minutes of material, and 20 of them are about South Florida. And my managers, who now they think because I got the Mark Griffin show that I'm going to really be like a superstar in the next minute.
Right.
They have me open for Ray Charles. Now, I'm at the Blue Max. I don't know if it's still there, but Blue Max used to be like the club in Chicago, opening for Ray Charles with 25 minutes, well, actually 5 minutes, and 20 minutes of bullshit, you know? That's pressure. But let me ask you this. So when you
How did it go? I want to know. How did it go when you opened for him?
Actually, I pulled it off, man. I pulled it off. I did. You know, sometimes, listen, if you have it in you, you somehow pull it out of you. And sometimes you have to put in situations like that to find out what's inside of you, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Sometimes you really have to be really, you know, circumstances have to push you in order, because sometimes you don't push yourself or you don't think of things like that. But no, I pulled it off.
Good for you.
I pulled it off.
I like to use baseball analogies for comedy. Headlining to me is like batting fourth. You're cleanup. You know, the MC, the opener, gets on base, hopefully. But if he doesn't, no big deal. And then the feature is kind of like, you know, get on base and more. And then now that you've got everybody on base, they did their job. If you don't get a hit,
Gotta bring some runs in.
you got to bring it home, man. You got to bring it home. And I think a lot of new guys. I also teach at the Improv. I teach stand up there with new people. They don't realize it's about the headliner, right? It's you're supposed to, like, everything leads up to that, and that helps the headliner too. Like if a guy goes up before a headliner and tries to be the star, or the MC is doing material instead of just being a host, it can make it. But a good headliner, it doesn't affect them. But you know, they don't understand. I go, look, it's about the headline. Al and I, you know, Al's a headliner. I open for Al. I don't mind. It doesn't. I enjoy. I love that middle spot. That middle spot is easy.
I wish I could have a career middle.
Get the same amount of money though.
Yeah. No, I want headliner money, but I want to do 25 minutes in the middle. You know.
You want to be Maureen Murphy.
Yeah.
You remember that story, Maureen Murphy? Maureen Murphy, we used to do the Tonight Show all the time, and 5 minutes at a time, and then she would go on the road, and she couldn't headline. So they paid her to be the headlining to middle, and then they will have to hire a headliner to close the show.
So Brian, I have a question. You might get asked this a lot, but what is your process with writing? Pay attention, Al. What is your I have to be interacting. I got lazy too, and I even though I teach the class, I'm still a little bit. I should be writing more. I can't just sit there and write. I have to be interacting with someone. How do you? What's your process, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I'm the same way. I've tried in the past to sit down, you know, and write.
Yeah.
You know, pen and a legal pad, or else get on a computer and write.
Yeah.
And I say to people, me in front of a blank piece of paper for an hour means I will end up with a blank piece of paper, because I just don't.
Oh, thank God you said that. I feel so much better about myself now.
That doesn't work for me.
Right. I know.
But you know, I mean, but I admire people who can create that way.
Me too. But let me ask you something. What are you doing? You get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and start meeting everybody in town and come back? I mean, if you need the interaction like we do, like Mike and I do to write, how you become so prolific? What are you doing? How many interactions are you having? I don't even, it sounds cocky, but I used to worry about it, but now I know, because I've been around enough, that things will pop into my head. I just do what I would normally do. Wow, that's a great feeling, man. That's a great feeling.
I read what I would normally read. I go where I would normally go. I watch what I would normally watch. And then every once in a while you see something in an unusual way. And you go, that might be a bit, you know what I mean? And then once you have the idea, then you can put some scaffolding around it and find the words to make it work. But the original idea comes from outside. It doesn't come from inside.
I mean, guys like Jerry Seinfeld and guys like that can sit down in front of a piece of paper and write a premise like Windows and then write everything that they could think funny about Windows. I can't do that, man. I just can't do it.
How much do you embellish or improvise once you got the material and you see it's really working? Do you have things come to you on stage that you just throw in there that work, or do you stick to the script? Oh,
no. For me, I think a lot of the best writing takes place on stage.
Me too. You know,
you have an idea, you think it's pretty good. I tape every show.
You still do?
Oh yeah, every show.
Man, God bless you, man. What discipline?
Every
no,
show.
I don't do that anymore.
But I used to force myself to listen to every show. But I only go, if I do something that I know is new or different, I'll just go find that. Hey,
I got it.
Interesting story about the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale and me taping. Remember that booth off to the side?
Yeah, of course.
Next, you could go sit over in that booth, right?
Yeah.
So I had this big clunky tape recorder, and I would set it up in the back of the booth. And then when I was being introduced for my little late night spot, I'd hit the record button. I'd walk on stage. So one time, I do that. And as I'm being introduced, they seat people in that group. They seat people there who don't know that my tape recorder is right there. And that night I go back to listen to my act, and I do a joke, and I hear a guy go, "Oh, brother."
Wow, that's so good.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't get into comedy to get "oh, brothers."
It's a good thing you didn't hear like a hit or something. Like, all right, Tony, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
We whacked the guy at 4 o'clock. What would you do with that? And now, as far as recording, you don't have to. You just record once. It's the same show over and over again. Same thing for me, though, brother. You know what's weird about students? They do this every week. They do everything I tell them not to do. Like, they come up with a few bits and punchlines and stuff, and then the next week they come up with all new stuff. I'm like, whoa. What happened to the stuff we worked on last week? Oh, I don't want to do that. I just did it. I'm like, you have been doing this for 5 days. You know, like,
and they're already moving on from it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I go, you don't understand. That joke's going to take a year. It's like a song. It takes a while to make it right. They're like, oh, I don't want. They do everything I don't tell them to do, but eventually it works out. We have a big graduation show at the Improv. It's really a lot of fun, man. We're going to start doing a show. The VA administration is putting together money for us to have veterans take the class and do shows for people with post-traumatic stress and stuff, and then have a show for the military with these these vets doing this show. I love having them in class, man. It's going to be great.
Wow.
So the normal people that you're teaching are traffic offenders?
No, I don't do the comedy traffic school anymore.
No.
Yeah, they're forced. They're court-ordered to take this comedy class.
So you can either pay a fine. You can either pay a fine, or you can go to Mike's comedy show. You can either pay a fine, or you can go to his comedy show.
I'll pay the fine.
Yes. Please, no, not that.
I'm writing that shit down. That was good.
Oh, God. Let me ask you something. Netflix, are you going to do more of those Netflix?
Yeah.
I thought they were cute, man. They were really, really interesting. I really like it. They were funny. They were interesting. They were cute.
Thank you. You're talking about the 4-episode series called
the one where you some stand up and then you go into those are, and I like the transition of going from the comedy to actual doing the scene later.
Thank you.
That worked beautiful. Beautiful.
We are hoping that either that show or something close to that show will be picked up on another platform. In fact, I'm hoping to hear within days. So it won't be with Netflix, but it'll be with another.
What are those streaming services?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. And how's your brother doing, man? I haven't seen Dennis in a while. I talked to him not too long ago, but I haven't seen him in a while.
Dennis is doing great. He actually had a physical thing he had to work through recently.
He didn't go into details. He just told me he was kind of sick for a while and was out of the picture.
Yeah, he had they had to take part of his head off and go in and take some stuff out.
Wow.
He was too smart. He was too smart.
They took brain matter because he had too much.
Too smart for his own good. So they didn't bring him down a couple notches.
Hey, Al, that's how you can get some new material. We take part of your brain out. We put somebody else's brain, like a dead comedian. We put some of that in there.
Yeah. Put some Bob Hope in, you know.
I remember talking to Dennis in the parking lot after because we did a training for the traffic school, and then we did a show that night at this strip mall. So I'm outside talking to him about you and everybody. And I go, so how do you get on Letterman? My dream in life was to be on the David Letterman show. That was my dream. I still have it. It's weird. That's how obsessed I am. But anyway. So you can't blame me. It's not my fault the show's over. It's not my fault the show's over. Anyway. So, but I go, how do you do that? He goes, oh, it's easy. He goes, I think he was talking about you. He's like, just make sure you're performing at this theater in New York and that Ray Romano's in the audience and this guy's in the audience. And he just said all the stuff that lined up, you know, that has to happen and everything.
That's how he got it.
Yeah, that's what. It was him then. That's what he was talking about. Yeah.
Dennis opened for Ray Romano.
Oh, yeah.
And Ray Romano, you know, Everybody Loves Raymond was Worldwide Pants, you know, David Letterman's company.
Yeah.
Right.
So they came out to see Ray, and Dennis just happened to be opening. I forget if it was Carnegie Hall or whatever it was. And Dennis, Dennis killed it. Dennis is the opener, but he killed. And then they came back after the show and asked if he wanted to be on. And so proud of Dennis. You know? And that's like that other story, like when planets line up sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I had this guy on the ship. This older gentleman came up to me and was like, you know, I know Jay Leno, and he asked me the other day if I knew any good comics. He goes, I had a really good set that night. And he's like, you know, I think you would be really good and so on. And I go, oh, whatever, you know. I didn't believe him. So I never really followed through on it. Actually, they wanted a tape. I was going to send a tape, an old tape of Jay Leno and a tape of mine and go, what do you think? But anyway, I never did it. And he said he knew Donald Trump, Jay Leno, and Larry King. I never believed him. I didn't follow through. I never felt good enough. I was scared. I'll be damned if I didn't watch Larry King one night, see a picture of this guy with Donald Trump and Jay Leno.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know, I didn't realize back then they want you to do well on the show. They don't want you to bomb.
Of course, no. It looks bad. They look bad if you do bad.
I pictured myself going out there and just like passing out or something. Like, oh.
Those TV spots are pretty intense. I remember your story, Al, with
I know, man.
The Tomorrow Show, right?
Man. Everything aligned. I mean, Roger Ailes came running down from his booth, and, you know, he said, fat guy, you have a manager? I go, no, I want a manager. I'm looking at him, who the fuck is this guy? I don't know who this guy is.
Wow.
You know? Then I called Mitzi that night. Mitzi, I was living in LA. I called Mitzi. He goes, you know, my God, the guy wants to manage you. You have an idea. And you know what? He fucked everything up for me. Yeah, because he had a very caustic attitude. I think later on we found out with Fox and all that. He just didn't have a very good people manner. As a manager, he was horrendous because he didn't know how to deal with people. Let's put it this way. William Morris returned my contract to him because they didn't want to work with him.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? But yeah, it happens. Sometimes things align and it's a magical moment. But you need that in life, you know. Hey, listen, you know, good fortune is part of life, you know. It is. But you have to be prepared for when that good fortune comes along, though.
Correct.
You know, and obviously you were, so that obviously everything aligned perfectly.
Well,
it's like you always say, Al, luck can get you in the room, but talent keeps you in the room.
Exactly. I've always said that. Luck gets you in the room, but you have to have the talent to stay in the room. A lot of people walk in the room, come right back out, you know? You know, you have to
let's face it, we're all doing very well. We're all on this show today. And
yeah,
Yeah.
Look
And
where
let me
we
ask you,
are.
Brian, let me ask
We're
you.
not
of
here
all the
by
things-
accident, man.
Of all the things that you have done, how proud are you to being on this podcast?
That's right.
This is it, man.
Yeah, this is it.
I'm retiring right when I say goodbye.
That's it. You have accomplished all your dreams in show business. You know that he got, not only did he did the Tonight Show, but he got to sit down with Carson. Carson called him over. That must have been an amazing moment for you.
It was actually a fluke. It was amazing, but it was a fluke. You know, everybody has those legendary stories of a comedian killing, right? And then Johnny Carson calling them over to the couch.
Right.
And I'm always careful to make it clear that that's not what happened to me. Mine was a little bit different because I don't want to include myself in the company of people who did that. That would be unfair. But what
You're
happened?
too fucking humble, man. You're still too fucking humble.
Brian just went over to get his recorder before he left the stage.
And I put it on his desk. I wanted to see if I got an old brother out of Johnny Carson.
So anyway, what happened?
Well, what happened was Bob Hope was supposed to be on that show that I was on, but he was filming a special for the Return of the Troops. He was supposed to be the first guest, right? So the taping starts, and then Macaulay, he was the comedy guy, said, "Hey, we're going to be doing things a little. We're doing this taping by the seat of our pants because Bob Hope was supposed to be our first guest, but he's running late because he's filming a special for the Return of the Troops from the first Gulf War." He goes, "But we expect him to show up, but we're going to be moving everybody up a bit." So I said, "Okay, fine." So I do my stand-up. You know, like that 6 minutes. You think about. I've been thinking about that 6 minutes for 12 years, right? So I go and I do that 6 minutes. I walk back through the curtain. Macaulay comes up. He's the producer. And he said, "Listen, Bob Hope is still not here. So we might need to fill some time." He goes, "So we're thinking of bringing you back out to do a panel segment at the end."
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "We don't have time to set anything up." He goes, "Johnny Carson will ask you about being from Miami, and you go into 5 minutes of clean material."
Holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit is right. And I'm like, I had 12 years to get my first 6 ready. Now I've got
30 seconds to go up with 5.
I've got 30 seconds to get my next 5 minutes ready. You know, and you can't say, "No, I can't do this." You got to go, "Yeah, no problem."
Of course, I can do that.
My brain is like, "What in the hell?"
Oh my God.
So sure enough, you know, he doesn't get, Bob Hope doesn't get there in time. Johnny Carson says, gives me a really nice intro. He goes, he explains to the audience. He goes, "Let me tell you what's going on here, folks. Bob Hope was supposed to be on the show, but he's filming a special for the Return of the Troops. He's not going to get here in time." And then he goes, "A likely excuse, you know." And, and then he goes, "Anyway, you really seem to enjoy the comedian we had on earlier, and I thought it would be nice if we brought him back out here if we get to know him a little bit better."
Wow.
And of course, because people love him, they're going to go out of their way to like me.
Right.
So I go out under that atmosphere. So I get to go out and sit next to him. And he says, "So you're from Miami, huh? What was that like growing up in Miami?" And I did that Spanish news joke that I used to do where when you hear the news in Spanish and not every Spanish word has an English has a translation. So I said I would hear the news in Spanish here, nuclear weapon, Miami, en uno momento. And so that was the joke. And then he laughed. And now I'm like, I don't know what to do now. And so he asked me this story about, he goes, "You know, when you first start, you play I would imagine you play a lot of rough rooms." He goes, "Have you ever had any rough gigs out there?" You know, and I didn't have any story. But I had something that had happened to me, but I never told the story anywhere.
Wow.
You know, so I said, well, one time I was playing in the
What
South.
a place to break out material.
Yes, yes. You know, I'm about to lose my career telling some lame story that has no funny part.
He's got his Walkman in with a tape from his recorder from a show he did.
So I'm like, my chest and my stomach are churning, you know, churning.
Oh, my God.
So I said, one time I remember playing a place down in the South, showed up, they had never done comedy before, and they were going to try it. I said, me and the other comedians showed up during the day, and the guy who ran the club said, yeah, let me tell you something, we ain't never had no comedians before. And then he laughed, and I had nowhere to go. Like, I'm done. If he had said, and then what happened, you would have never seen me again.
Would have never heard of you again.
You would have never heard from me again. My career would have been over. But he sensed that I was done and said, he goes, you know, I know what you're talking about, because when I first started, and then he told a story that got a laugh, and I'm like, people have no idea. He just threw me a life preserver.
Yeah.
He was excellent at that, wasn't he? He was so good at that, man. At feeling the other guest.
He could feel, and I've heard other people say similar things, how he saved them, and I'm like, I experienced it, man. He saved me, and it was just an amazing experience.
It is, and you know, and from there, you know, I mean, now you are. The last time I was at the Borgata, they told me, he says, oh, yeah, Brian Regan is going to be here. And I'm going, really? Oh, yeah. And I'm thinking he's going to be in the living room, you know, and they're moving shit all over the fucking place. And I go, what's going on here? I go, Brian Regan. What? Brian's going to be here? I go, yeah, we're moving here because we need, he sold out the first section and we have to move seats so we can bring more people in. Oh, man. Listen. One thing, and I told him before, one of the greatest thing is to see somebody that's a nice person, and you prove it here, how humble you are, making it, because there's so many assholes in our business. And when a nice guy makes it, it makes all of us have, you know, faith, you know, that there's still nice people that can make it in this business. You don't have to be an asshole. And you've been fantastic, man. We're so proud of you. Me and Joe talk about you all the time, man.
That means a lot to me, man.
Yeah, I was actually, you know how you get starstruck every once in a while? Like, you're one of those goat dudes, man. Like, I watch your videos, you crack me up. I think you're I think maybe the best, if not one of the best, if not the best comedian out there.
Thank you.
I really do.
Mike, he's not going to let you blow him, okay?
Hey, not so fast.
Whoa, things have changed a lot since the last time I saw you.
We were arguing about who was going to have to do it, and I said, you're not very good at it now. But listen, I know we got your time is valuable, and we have had you here a while, and we want to, is there anything you want to say or talk about? Anything you want to, you know, tell the 5 people who are actually watching us what you got coming up? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I just want to say, Al, I really enjoyed your book, Revolution.
Oh, thank you very much, buddy.
And I was happy that you were able to get on that book TV thing or whatever. Is it?
Yeah, well, oh man, I've been hustling. I got my book on Costco. Didn't last very long. Yeah, I mean, did it all myself, man. Just hustle my ass.
It's like the opposite of shoplifting. Al goes in and puts books on shelves.
You know, no, listen to this. Listen to this. This is how much of a whore I am. I will go to Costco and I will stand next to my book. And when people will go by, I go, you like reading? I go, you should pick this book. It's fantastic. And then look at me and go, you know how I know it's fantastic? Because I wrote it.
Oh, wow.
That's great. That's great.
That's fucking whore I am. And I will come in with a pen and say, you know, if you buy it, I'll sign it for you right now. I have no shame.
Your wife loves when you do that around the house, too.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, when you're going to be in West Palm Beach, let me know so we can come see you, man. We'd love to see you.
Absolutely.
I mean, and Joe will love to see you. You know, Joe's not doing very well, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
He's 80 years old. He's practically blind. Yeah, I mean he's still in good shape because he's always taking care of himself, you know. But yeah, I mean, but you can see he's beginning to deteriorate. He's 80 years old. So yeah, when you're in West Palm Beach, let us know. We'll definitely come see you.
You got it, man.
Hey
All
man,
right, so
and
great
thank
to
you.
meet you.
I
Thank you
cannot
so much.
thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough for being on our podcast with us.
My pleasure. You guys are great, man. Thank you for having me on, and look forward to seeing you guys soon.
All right,
Okay,
Brian.
hey,
Thank you
I'm
so much,
looking
buddy.
forward to see you in person. I'll give you a big hug, my friend.
Love it. All right,
Okay.
man. Later,
See you,
guys.
buddy.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, Brian. Thank you.
Bye.
So that was awesome.
That was a fantastic. I haven't laughed this hard in a long time.
We finally,
He's so funny. Anything he says is funny. The way he says
I know. He's just, I think it's his attitude.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's that every man confidence. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no pretensions to that. You know what it reminds me of? It's like watching Jimmy Stewart doing comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a great description.
That's what Brian is. The humble guy, nice guy, no pretentious, no nothing. Here I am, being myself, just talking.
Yeah.
And people see when that is real. They can feel it, They can feel the reality,
Yeah.
He's a great guy, man. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to send him a T-shirt, definitely.
Yeah.
He probably should get a cup. We get a coffee
T-shirt
cup.
and a cup. I think
Cup
you should have
and your
both.
book. I was gonna see if he really read your book and say, okay, what was it about, Brian? I loved your book about the revolution.
Well, he's from Miami, so he knows. He grew up with a lot of kids.
You know what he does? And that's just what I try to teach my students. Maybe it can't be taught, and I could do more of it myself. But when I do it, it works. Making fun of yourself, not even with your words, just with your attitude.
Yeah.
He shares his pain and his fear and his embarrassment or whatever he's feeling so well. Like when he talks about going to the hospital or being in school and doing a science project or being bad at math or whatever, he's so good at it. And he's so likable too.
Yeah, very he has everything going for him, man. I'm telling you. I mean, the only thing that I would like for him, I would like to see him more do like movies or.
Oh, I wanted to ask him about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he been in any movies?
No, and I didn't want to get into it because I don't know what the deal is, but I would love to have seen it. Although he has made a career, an amazing career out of stand-up. Listen, when I was at the Borgata, man, they have sold out 5,000 seats. They have they converted. You know how they do that? They have the accordion seating.
Yeah.
So they have it open for 5,000. That's the usual. They had to open it to the 10,000 seating because he sold out at 5,000 capacity.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Talking to guys like him and having him on the show and realizing that we do the same, we're in the same industry, that we do the same thing, and you actually worked with him, makes me proud to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. And like I said, when I see guys like him, such a nice guy, such a down-to-earth guy, no pretentious, stuff like that, and still make it as big as he made it in this business, it's very encouraging. It's very encouraging because let me tell you, I live in LA. And I met every asshole there is out there.
It's not called the luck of the Cubans, is it?
No.
It's the luck of the Irish.
They all look at the Irish, exactly. Catholic Irish.
But just even like we've had people on and you think that they're going to be funny or whatever, and they're kind of personally, they're just kind of a little drier than we would expect. But
we had 3 guests. We had maybe 2 that took themselves so seriously that I'm sitting here going, what the fuck is this guy doing here? What the fuck is this? Doesn't he know we're doing a podcast with humor? He actually,
I think.
Don't mention names.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Al. he actually, that Flip Schultz, what a piece of shit. By the way, Flip said he can't be on tonight. He's in LA. He's got stuff to do.
In LA? I thought he moved here.
He did, but he's in LA back again.
Oh,
maybe they have an open mic there or something. Anyway, no. But what was I going to say? I actually feel like he tried to add to our show. He tried to be funny.
Yeah. He felt like one of the guys. He didn't, coming in. Listen, he didn't come here like, "Hi, I'm Brian Regan, and what do you want to know about me?" No, he came in like a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Sitting around, shooting the breeze,
Right.
going about the things that we catching up to all the years that we haven't seen each other. That's what he was. And you can see that how real the guy is and how, down to earth he is,
How has his material or stand-up evolved over the years? Is it pretty much the same as it was when you knew him? Is it?
No, Mike, I've never been the guy who watch comedians.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never liked
yeah.
doing that. I don't watch other people's act. I really don't. But I did see him because I've been waiting on the wings, waiting to go on, and he'll be on stage. So I seen some of his act. Not as much. I think that when he started doing more physical movement, how he tells
more
a joke,
animated. Yeah.
Yeah, more animated and more physical and more rubbery face. I think he developed that later. I remember him doing. He used to have a joke. It was very funny. I love that joke. Where he says, "You people like impressions?" You go, "Yeah," and then we'll go.
Oh yeah.
And you go, and people go, "What? That's my next door neighbor, Randy." You
Right.
know?
Right.
I mean, I'm not doing any justice to the joke.
I understand.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's one physicality type of joke that I remember him doing. But what he does now, no, I don't remember. But like I said, I never watch comics, man.
Yeah.
I don't.
Did
I
you?
don't like to
You
watch
didn't want to
movies.
tell him that you were the guy in the booth that said, "Oh, brother."
Yeah, no, I didn't want to let him. I didn't want to let him know that. I didn't want to let him know that.
So listen, man, this is episode 20, Al.
Oh man, yeah. Not only episode 20, we're episode 20 with a major star
Yes.
on our podcast.
He's a major star.
Yeah, he is in the comedy world. He
It was like
is a
talking
big
to your
star, man.
neighbor. It was just like talking to the next door neighbor. It was like
Well,
amazing.
that's Brian, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what he hasn't changed. He's the same guy I remember when he used to be the cook at the comic strip. And another guy that is like that is Ray Romano. They happen to be with the same agency, by the way. They
Yeah.
happen to have the same manager.
Right.
Ray Romano is another guy that down to earth, nice guy.
Oh, you must have got a text or call because your picture.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, we go.
So
Let
listen,
me see.
I
Not
think
doing it. I
turn
don't
your.
know why it doesn't let me back on again.
Let me help out here. Hold on. I sent you something that should help.
Yeah, it's
There you
okay
go.
now.
So
Yeah,
listen,
okay,
let's
okay.
hang out after the show. I want to talk to you, but
Okay.
so let's wrap up the show. Man, that was awesome. That was
It was
amazing.
fantastic.
Brian
Really
Regan,
great.
what a champ. What a guy. I got
I
to
know.
meet Brian Regan. That's awesome for me. Thank you for watching. If you like the show, please like us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and follow us. And
we're big shit now. We're big shit now.
We're big shit now. Spread the show, not the virus.
Thank you.
All right, you got anything to say, Al?
No, just goodbye. I'm going to go back to watch the TV and see how many more votes have changed in the
That's
last
right.
2 hours.
Why? Well, speaking of that, why does CNN have Trump with 213 and Fox has him at 214?
Because Fox, strangely enough, which happens to be a conservative station, gave Arizona to Trump, and no other station have done it. They are the only ones that have called Arizona. For
Oh,
Trump.
they just said, we'll give it to him.
Well, according to their
Yeah.
what do they call those things they do, the algorithms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can tell how many votes are coming from this area, how many votes, their past history of voting. They do all this calculation. They come with a formula. So they're the only one that have called Arizona for Trump. So anyways.
Well, thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you. Share.
Episode 20 with Brian Regan is in the can. Thank you, and good night. If you want to watch this again, you can share it. You can always watch it. It'll stay on Facebook even after you watch it. You can watch it again, or it'll also be on Podbean if you want to listen to it in your car. All right, everybody. Have a good night.